Good morning. Welcome back to Will's Wheelhouse. Today we're going to be working on a Volkswagen Jetta, replacing motor mounts, transmission mounts, and sway bar end links. First, you want to jack the vehicle up, secure it with jack stands and shocks for the wheels. Next, you're going to jack the engine up, give it some support. Use a block of wood between the jack and the oil pan so it doesn't get crushed. This is going to relieve tension off some of the motor mounts. The mounts we'll be replacing today is this one right here. The one for the transmission. And the strut mount right there. Sway bar end links. These items on both sides of the vehicle. So what you'll need to do here is take the two Phillips screws out of the coolant reservoir, disconnect the coolant reservoir sensor, pull the vacuum line. There's a little push tab here, just push, twist up, pull this to the side. There's a 10mm bolt here. Remove that to remove the power steering unit. Remove your bracket, which has two 13mm bolts going from there to there. Two 16mm bolts on the mount to the body or fender well, and then two 18mm bolts from the mount to the side of the engine. Now when you put your new mount in, you want to put the two bolts for the side of the engine to the mount, the two from the mount to the frame of the vehicle or fender well, whatever you want to call it. Don't tighten them all up, just start them all in, and your bracket from the mount to the fender well. After those are all started to be threaded in, you can tighten those up. Install your coolant reservoir and your power steering reservoir. Reattach your sensor and your vacuum line. On the transmission mount, you're going to want to remove the air filter assembly, the hose. We're going to start removing, or at least loosening, this wiring harness so we can get to the bolts for the transmission mount here, there, and there. You're also going to want to jack up this side, so put a block of wood between your transmission and your jack so you don't damage the pan. This is going to relieve stress on this mount. For this mount, you can get to the two bolts here from the mount to the transmission. You can get the one bolt on the mount to the frame, and if you move this wire just enough, you can access the bolt below. There is a hole in this wiring. And then there's one more bolt right there. So down here, you've got your two 16mm bolts on the one for the transmission and mount. And then you've got two 13 bolts here. After these are removed, this just pulls straight out. Now for the sway bar end links, you got a 16mm bolt and nut and a 16mm bolt. Just remove those and replace your sway bar end link.